This is Lorenzo, and this is the Training Routines Taxonomy video series, lesson number 2. It's a review on the body's 9 dimensions, which means if you've already watched the Training Map Taxonomy video series, then you'll already be familiar with the body's 9 dimensions. If not, make sure you watch the video all the way to the end, because it's important that you have a firm understanding of the body's 3 different domains and its associated dimensions. Because just as with the Training Map Taxonomy video series, the body's 3 domains represent 3 of the 9 facets that constitute both the Training Map Taxonomy as well as the Training Routines Taxonomy. Now, whether you're an exercise beginner or you are an exercise specialist, we all need to take a balanced approach to our training. This means that we want to ensure that at the very minimum, we want to design a program that is going to develop the most important parts of the body, or in the best case scenario, every part of the body. I've therefore come up with a 3-part framework to help us better think about and also approach the development and expression of the different parts of the body. So for our first domain, it's all about lower body development. And when it comes to lower body development, I think in terms of hip planes. A body plane is nothing but an imaginary flat surface that divides the body into different sections. So for the sagittal plane, it will divide the body into left and right sections. The frontal plane will divide the body into anterior and posterior, or back and front planes. Now, you don't really need to remember the planes. However, the best way to think about it is that the sagittal plane, in which the body is moving in a linear path, either forward or back, it's going to emphasize the anterior quads as well as the posterior glutes equally, as we can see here. Whereas the frontal plane is about moving side to side, emphasizing the lateral glutes, which you can't see in this image, and the medial adductors, which we can see here. These are the minimum planar considerations we need to take into account if you want total lower body development. The second domain is all about core development. And when it comes to core development, I think in terms of chains, we've all heard of the posterior chain, anterior chain, maybe not so much the lateral chain, but these are the 3 chain dimensions we need to consider if we want to have a complete approach to our core development. An example of an anterior chain exercise would be the leg raise. And as such, it would not just focus on the rectus abdominis or the abdominals, it will also focus on our hip flexors, the iliopsoas, as well as our rectus femoris. Hence why we call it a chain of muscles. For the posterior chain, an example would be the deadlift, focusing on our hamstrings, glutes, and erectors in a chain rather than just isolating the muscle. This would be our glutes, erectors, as well as our hamstrings. An example of a lateral chain exercise would be the side plank, which disproportionately focuses on the obliques, as well as, and depending on the exercise, our abductors and adductors. The third and final domain is all about upper body development. And when I think about upper body development, I think in terms of pull and press vectors. There are 2 vectors that you should be aware of. We have vertical and horizontal pulling and pressing vectors. An example of a vertical pull would be the pull-up, which focuses on the lats and the biceps, as we can see here. For a vertical press, we have the overhead press, which focuses on delts and triceps, as we can see here. An example, and one of many, for the horizontal pull is the row, which focuses on the back and biceps, just as with the vertical pull, but with an emphasis on the mid-back. Finally, an example of a horizontal press would be something like the push-up, which disproportionately helps us focus and develop the chest and tricep muscles, as we can see over here. So in summary, we have 3 body domains: the lower body, core, and upper body, as well as their respective dimensions. In the lower body, we have the sagittal and frontal dimension. In our core, we have the anterior, posterior, and lateral dimension. For the upper body, we have 2 pull and 2 press dimensions. giving us a total of 9 body dimensions.